Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I may look a little bit like a hot mess. Not long before this call, I mean, I just finished all my email check-ins because it's Monday, but I was in the garage this morning working on this cabinetry project, and something that you'll need to know about me is that I cannot do math to save my life. And it's not even like, oh, I see what I did there. Like I try to do things and I try to be meticulous, and I try to really like measure 5 times so I only cut once. And it's still just like 1 plus 1 just like doesn't equal 2 when I do it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that happens to you, or if something, you know, measures 87 inches in my head, like my head will go like 38. You know, like it just doesn't. I'm not good at reading numbers. I've met a lot of people actually who agree about that there's something like numbers dyslexia, where we just can't like see and store numbers. So that, combined with the fact that like I just don't actually have a proper wood shop that has the right space I need and like a big enough workbench. Oh, now there's like sawdust in my eyes. And it just kind of causes you to not have quite the right tools, which means sometimes things will just like not turn out quite right. And I had like a full-on emotional breakdown because I am on my period. I have had my second period since my postpartum period, which I actually just posted about on Friday. I just kind of talk everybody through how it went and what I had to do to get my postpartum period back. And since that video being recorded, I have just finished the last cycle. So if you watched that one, I got my period and had only, I think, a 6-day luteal phase, which absolutely needed work. And I took steps, and my last cycle was a 10-day luteal phase. So still like, that's like low normal. Like low normal is 11 days, you know what I mean? 10 days, I've seen a lot of people get pregnant on 10 days. I mean, but there's so much more nuance to that. If that's something you want to hear more about, let me know below. But I've seen people get pregnant on 10 days, and I also, you should just not expect to go from 6 days to 14 days. Like that's not really gonna happen. It is something that you have to progress up with. So with that in mind, I'm really happy about the steps I took and how they paid off to go from 6 days to 10 days. Maybe I'll share about that at some point in the future. I'd love to share about that, but we have a lot of questions to go through. But like, also side note, tampons, dude. So in America, like funny thing about being in Australia, you get a tampon, and it's the tampon. It's like and probably in Europe, I don't know, you guys tell me, but it's the tampon in a little packet. In America, it's always like in some kind of contraption. And I've tried to use them in the past, and I just don't get it. First of all, just put your finger in, like it's okay. You know what I mean? I guess I get that, like maybe I don't know, where are you putting a tampon in where you don't have access to wash your hands, you know? I feel like this is a big waste of plastic that I don't want to be inserting into my vagina. And but like for the longest time, I had tried one once to be like, okay, what's all of the fuss about? Like why is the only option that you could get here? And I tried it, and I was like, okay, you think that is going to get this thing lodged in my cervix where it needs to be? No, like it's absolutely comical. But I did discover that there's actually like you like push out, and then I don't know, it's like a whole piece of engineering that is just like you just put it in, you know what I mean? Such a funny thing I wanted to share. Okay, I have a buildup of questions, and I say this all the time, and I always want to get them all done, but you know, it's rare. Okay. Ramoon. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Ramoon. I hope that's right, but I have a feeling it's not. Okay, she says, "Hello dear, I'm writing you with a question hoping for any advice. Background. It is about 3 years I'm recovering from anorexia as well as amenorrhea. However, my real recovery started a few months ago. I feel that my body is trying to do something. I do have headaches, discharge, and slight cramps from time to time, but still no period. The strangest thing is that my hair is extremely shedding. This is happening for about 2 months. All blood tests are okay. Also, I have read that hair falling out is normal in recovery. Is this true? I'm truly concerned. Any advice? I'll be happy to hear any thoughts about this. Thank you in advance." Okay, hair loss, first of all, just like the hair loss piece, guys, it's so real. It's really, really hard. It's extremely hard motivationally, emotionally. And you know, the reality, like the absolute reality and truth of the matter is that sometimes like the hair falling out thing doesn't really resolve itself for a long time, or like you are reaping the issues of a really long and prolonged nutrient deficiency for a while. Hair falling out just takes a while to build back up. So in that one, you know, there are definitely things to try in your process, like hair serums and things that are topical, just to kind of help slow the falling out of the hair, but that's not really what you're asking about. So it is normal to experience discharge, headaches, cramping, activity, right? People say like, something is happening, like I am feeling activity going on in my body. And that's good. We're glad that you're experiencing that activity, because you know when you're used to having nothing going on down there. You know when things are fluttering and tugging and popping and like behaving differently. So it's not in your head. So it's like, you're not crazy. When people report that, I completely believe they're experiencing activity in the ovary uterus region, because activity is happening in there, because you're taking steps and you've been doing work to make that happen. It is an early sign, right? There are other things to look for. Ramon, I recommend that you be tracking your mucus observations, looking for specific patterns, understanding what it means about how far it stretches and things like that, to give you an idea of if you're experiencing vaginal cell slough or if you're experiencing like non-peak and peak mucus. And just so you can see when it really is or isn't increasing. Because here's the thing, and I have said it a million times, so if you watch or listen to all my stuff, you already know this. You can be doing enough, right, for your body to give you some signs that recovery is happening, like that you're on the right track. But there can be a point where that's all you're gonna get, right? The changes you're doing, the behaviors you're doing, the rules you've lifted, the restrictions you're no longer having, they will get you so far. But the ones that you may still be holding on to are potentially the ones that mean that what you're experiencing is all you're gonna experience. Does that make sense? So you said a few months, but you didn't say how long you've been experiencing those symptoms, right? So if like you made some changes a few months ago and you immediately started experiencing these sensations, that's really cool and interesting. And if it hasn't changed, you may need to dig deeper and look for what other behaviors or things it is that you might be doing that might be holding you back. What I'm gonna recommend, if you haven't done it, is do my 7-day recovery commitment kickoff challenge. I think you should do that one and just like go through all 7 days of the video and just see what you may or may not have tried yet, have thought about, have implemented. It will just take you through, day by day, all of the things that you need to consider and the mindset shifts that are really important for all of the different areas of recovery. So do that. Go to thehasociety.com/7-day-challenge. I'll put the link in the comments below or in the description below. I think that would be something that's really good for you to do. So yeah, good luck. Keep going, keep digging. What else might be holding it back if you have been already trying and seeing no improvement in your symptoms? If your symptoms are still naturally improving or growing, it might just be a matter of patience, but I wouldn't waste any time. I would look into it. So maybe start with that challenge. Okay. Radia. Hello, Danny. I hope you can have an idea of my case's progress. So I've had HA since 5 years when I had 14 years old. Okay. We got English as second language, which by the way, guys, I love. I love all of the different people from all of the different countries sending me all of the questions. And so far, everyone's English is on point. So just feedback for you guys. Radia, I can tell now, so I'm going to reread from the beginning. Hi, Danny. I hope you have an idea about my case's progress. So I've had HA for 5 years. It started when I was 14 years old. And the causes are changed due to years of I had passed by different types of anorexia, different types of disordered eating, such as anorexia, orthorexia. I was also very active and really stressed all the time. I took contraceptive pills just for diagnostics when I took Vitex, which I got my period on after using, but once I stopped, it stopped coming. It's been 3 weeks that I knew all of this information about my period loss. So I started going all in and updating my routines, but I still have no period. So do you think that I should take Vitex again or just wait until having my period naturally? I want to add that I have seen blood droplets on toilet paper in the last month, and thank you for everything you do to help bring us awareness. Okay, Radia, love it. Love this question. Sorry, that middle piece tripped over my words, but I got you. You have had anorexia, you had HA for 5 years, you used Vitex, you stopped using Vitex, and it stopped working. Should you take it again? I wouldn't say you are one of the people that should take it. I absolutely have clients where I say, hey, maybe Vitex is something we can try. The context is different. The history, the goals, all of that stuff is different. Your goal, Radia, is to have a natural cycle, by the sounds of it, with a history of anorexia and orthorexia. I would say it's best for you right now to try and get your period back naturally. Here's the thing with Vitex. Vitex doesn't solve any problems. Vitex is really great and a really helpful tool, but Vitex isn't a solution. It's not going to help bring it on. And you can see that by the fact that you took it, and then when you stopped taking it, it stopped working, right? This is telling us that the result of taking the Vitex was very impactful in the moment for helping raise estrogen levels for you, which is what it's known to do and absolutely what it does. But as soon as you stop taking it, it doesn't work anymore. So unless you only ever want to take Vitex forever, which is just not recommended and just really not a solution, but more of a band-aid, I would try and get it back naturally. And I think that's really just your question. So I hope that helps. If you have any other questions about that, let me know. But otherwise, keep going. You got this. Okay, Missy. Missy says, hi, Danny. I just came across your platform yesterday about 1 hour after being diagnosed with functional HA. Welcome, Missy. Holy cow, I've already learned so much in less than 24 hours. Thank you for all of this information. Oh, you're welcome. So, I already gathered that I must decrease exercise and increase calories. I work out 6 to 7 days and don't reach 2,000 calories, so it is a big no-brainer. Some changes need to happen. Love it. My question revolves around my exercise routine and food beforehand. I'll be going down to 3 days. However, I can only work out in the early morning at around 5 a.m. I know you recommend eating before exercising. However, I cannot imagine adding in food that early. I usually finish dinner around 6 p.m. and don't eat until about 7:30 to 8 a.m. the next day. I get up around 4:15 every day. Hang on. I usually finish dinner around 6 and don't eat until, okay. I get up at 4:15 every day. Is it still suggested to have calorie intake when working out that early? Thanks a million for your help, and I do apologize if you have answered this question a million times already. Don't think I have answered this question a million times already, so I love this question. I appreciate this question. Certainly I have had this question, but I don't know if I have an episode about it. So my answer is definitely more deeper than this. 2 things. Okay, you have to work out at 5 a.m. It's going to be tough, okay? I want you to know it may or may not work for you. There is no guarantee that when we kind of go outside of the main recommendations and try to create like the next best option, there's no guarantee that the next best option is gonna work. So going down from 7 days a week to 3 days is a huge adjustment. I did exactly the same thing. So like, that's really great. And I love that you're making that change. Keeping it at 5 a.m., is perhaps going to make little to no difference, but it's totally worth trying. So let's do it. Now, with that in mind, if you're gonna compromise, which is what you're doing, right? I still wanna work out at 5 a.m. in the morning is totally a compromise. It is not like, we just have to kind of acknowledge I am choosing not to put recovery 100% first. Still working out is still a higher priority for me. So we have to first acknowledge that that's a choice that we made, and that it's a compromise. Meaning, to say I'm now going to also do it fasted is another compromise. So already you're saying, I want to do recovery, but I'm going to compromise by still working at 5 a.m. And I want to do recovery, but I'm going to compromise by working out fasted. 2 separate things, or 2 choices here. You kind of just say, I can't imagine eating that early. Totally get it. This is where it gets fun. Because I get to say to you, well, guess what? Imagine it, baby, because it's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. And it's such a shift when you have been getting up at 4:15 and not eating till 8. It's a shift, and it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's temporary. You're going to start getting used to it. I had to do it too, right? Even though I wasn't working out in the morning, but I have newborn baby, and my recovery, like my postpartum recovery cycle wasn't really coming. But I wasn't eating breakfast that early because it's like so early. But I kind of knew what I had to do because I'm very susceptible to period issues if I kind of go off that routine. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm eating at like 4 a.m. So I've done it. And now I wake up and I'm hungry. You can do it, right? If you ate dinner at, you say here, 6 p.m., 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like 11 hours before you last ate, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. So you like, I'm not buying necessarily that like that's just it's too close to my last meal. It's too like, you know what I mean? It's actually a pretty significant fast. It's actually too big of a fast. If you're trying to get your period back, that's too big of a window. You need to eat. You should, so one thing you can do is have your dinner later, or make sure you have food before you go to bed. Just to bring the window of fasting, to make it smaller. I would recommend you do that. And then I would recommend, not necessarily you have to get up and have this huge breakfast. Like, let's not just jump to that conclusion. Let's start having some toast with honey, or toast and an egg, or a bowl of cereal with full fat milk, something like that, that's gonna digest easily for training. But yeah, I'm not gonna give you an out here. Like, I care about you, Missy, so I'm not gonna give you an out and say, oh, well, okay, like you can try it this way and then just make sure you eat more later. Like, that's actually not the solution. That's actually not the answer. The answer is you're gonna have to get up, you're gonna have to break that 11-hour fast. You cannot go from 6 p.m. till 8 a.m. You know, this is a huge contributor. So I care a lot about this question for you. Like, I care a lot about this advice for you. I hope that helps. Welcome to the group, to the community. Whew, okay, let's do another one real quick. Miriam asks, hey, I don't know if you'll reply to me or not. I just came across your video on second periods after HA. Nice. It was really helpful. I got my first period last month and it's almost 40 days now and I didn't have my period, although I'm having all of the symptoms like tender breasts and cramps, etc. But there is almost no cervical mucus and getting so many mixed signals. I'm clueless what to expect anymore. Is this normal? I have a really even more recent video where I talk about the second ovulation. And unless you're referring to that one, I think you're talking about the second recovery period video. Go into my videos, Miriam, find, and maybe I'll post it in the comments below. Let me write that down. Find the video about the second, or like your next ovulation after recovery. It is normal statistically for it to not come for like 45 days. You're experiencing breast tenderness, so I feel like you're on track. So just give it, if you've not changed anything, you're doing the things, you haven't backed off eating, you haven't increased exercise because it's like, oh, I got my period back, I don't need to do those things anymore. If you haven't, you know, that happens, right? So just check in on that. If that's not the case and you have been doing all the things that helped you get your first period, stay calm, wait it out just a little bit longer, give yourself a few more days, and see if you ovulate just because you're having those symptoms. Then if you don't, everything I say in the where is my second period still applies, that video. So I really recommend that you kind of dig into that. This is a good opportunity for either my period recovery game planner. That's what this is about. So you can revisit this as many times as you need from now into the foreseeable future. Every time your period feels amiss, you just look at the game planner. I'll put the link to that as well in the comments, and you kind of go through it and you're like, okay, what am I doing? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? Am I doing that? And usually it will help you to uncover any blind spots that might be the thing for you. Yeah, but otherwise you're still in the realm of normal for a second ovulation, so it's all peachy. Okay, that was a lot. This is a great episode. This was really fun. I'll do more of them soon. Thanks guys, happy Vlogmas, and I hope you guys have an amazing week. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel, turn on the bell notification so you know when all the future episodes come out. We are like halfway done now already with Vlogmas, okay? So there's like 12-ish, 13 more videos left. So please submit your questions. And, you know, as I think about it, everyone go and do the 7-day recovery commitment challenge. It's a really, really helpful challenge. The link is going to be below. It will just really help you sort of commit to the process and figure out like what are all of the things that you need to know and do, and the mindsets and perspectives you need to have to be able to like really commit 100% to recovery. So I recommend you do that, and that's gonna be my pro tip for everyone for today. Okay, happy Monday.